What's going on, everyone? American in Leeds, the American in Leeds YouTube channel, also available on Spotify at American in Leeds. You can find me at American in Leeds on Twitter. I will forever be calling it Twitter and not X. Maybe I'll do a little X. I don't know. But on that social media platform and here, of course, on YouTube. Thank you so much. We are promoted. This particular episode, we are going to be looking at Paraag Marathe's conversation in which he's basically come out and said that he supports the gaffer, which is of no surprise to me. As I said to you guys earlier, there's nothing to break. There's no reason for Paraag Marathe to come out and say that he is going to back Daniel Farke when the season's not finished, and it's important that we get first place. Now, in retrospect, you could say that that was not correct, but I think it is. And listening to Paraag Marathe, he will share similar thoughts. But in this channel, we don't speculate. We don't read a headline and then immediately jump to Twitter. We don't do it. We look exactly at what was said and what was published by the people writing it and the people in the job. So this is a very important moment because Paraag Marathe is actually, these are his words. He's come out, he did a phone press conference and talked to BBC West Yorkshire as well as the Yorkshire Evening Post. So ears perk up, we listen. Also, please smash the like when you get an opportunity. It means a ton to me. So this is Marathe in his own words. We're going to listen to this full 16-minute conversation in his phone press conference.
I just want to say how proud I am of the club, for the players, for Daniel and the coaches, just all the staff. It's just such an incredible achievement. 100 points has been achieved, 7 times in the history of the league, and our highest point total ever. Coming off last season when 90 points, the first club with 90 points not to be promoted. We, with those damn exit clauses, lose 3 of our best players. And here we are 10 points better than last season. It's just an incredible achievement. You know, I felt like the cosmos was talking to me 4 days ago after a night. It was after Bristol and on Sky. I didn't know Sky did this. They had a little 1-hour broadcast, 1-hour condensed version of the Wembley final last season. I'd never watched it before. I'd never watched any replay, and I felt like God was.
He rewatched the Wembley final in which Leeds United lost.
Torturing me watching that. And then I realized, I mean, this is honest. I'm going real with you guys. Then I realized that I think he was showing me that for a reason, to remind me that as difficult as everything has been, and as long and arduous and challenging the last 2 years has been, it makes this journey that much more rewarding, and to appreciate the moment that we're in, which is why I tried to do my best last night doing that. But it's just so special for me. The best thing is that we uplifted a whole community, of this whole city, of this whole area. You could just feel it. I wish I could have seen it this morning, but at least I was there this afternoon when I walked outside for coffee. And it was just already the city is buzzing. It's just such a special feeling. And so, I'm just trying to enjoy every moment of it that I can. I'm not here right now ready to talk about next season and summer. I'll say a few things, but I'm not really ready to talk about summer transfer plans and things like that. I just want to appreciate the moment that we're in. But I do have something to say. And it is. I am someone, so you guys know, and as you're getting to know me, I'm someone who I'll speak when I have something to say, and when I feel like it's the right time.
On my channel, there are 200 to 300 of you listen to me fairly consistently. I've always said that. They will speak when they have something to say. If they don't have anything to say, they're not going to give oxygen to stories that don't make any, that are just speculation. That's how, look, I'm not ITK. I'm not in the know. I do know, because I've watched all my life, how the NFL operates. the NFL in America, which is where this family is from, that league is organized to everything is controlled. They control every single part of that narrative. And so from an American that's followed Leeds now for almost 10 years since Gary Monk, that was the first year that I followed him, it's been a cultural shock to me to see the speculation actually control the media. And the Daily Mail article the past, 10 days has been fascinating. So anyways, here he comes about to back Daniel.
For me. And I'm not one to respond because some random gossip paper wants to say something. I'm not one to make comments based on rumors and gossip. But now today is that day. I was waiting for the season to conclude. I wanted to win a trophy, just like Daniel did, just like the players did, just like all the staff did. And that's what I wanted. And we got that goal. My plan was always to come and speak to you all right after the season concluded. And so that time is now. And I want to tell you all that I'm very excited to run it back with Daniel. And that, I'm really excited about collaborating with Daniel, with Robbie Evans, who we promoted to managing director, with Adam Underwood, who we promoted to sporting director. And together, we are going to build the best squad that we can.
Okay. What did I say? I said on my last podcast, I've said to other people, the 49ers are extremely loyal. When I look at the 49ers, again, I'm not a fan of the 49ers originally. I love Leeds, so I want them to be successful. But I've been following the NFL again my whole life. When I looked at the Yorks and the 49er family they're extremely loyal to their front office, to their head coach, Kyle Shanahan, and they've been for a decade. They've had good seasons. They've gone to 2 finals. And then they've also had some bad seasons, but they don't fire anybody over there. There's not promotion and relegation. So when there was internal candidates, I was like, this is a sign that they're not going to change with Daniel Farke. I didn't know there was a lot of speculation. I think he did have to get first place. I really do. I think that trophy mattered, even though, there's a lot of people, the London media is saying it's pipped and we did it on goal difference. Yeah, put that in the can. We got the trophy, and that's important. And I think it also sets a winning culture for the team. We go out, we win titles. This is what we do. Doesn't matter what title it is. You get a chance to get a trophy, you go out and get it.
With every penny that we're allowed to spend to go and compete in the Premier League. And I'm under no illusions that it's going to be easy. I know all the stats. Last season's 3 promoted clubs went right back down. 2 years ago, 3 promoted clubs went right back down. But we have something that they don't. Okay, we have Daniel Farke, first of all, and a tremendous coaching staff. We have players that believe that the sum of the parts are greater than the individual pieces. We have a community that supports our club, right? We have a 28,000 person paid season ticket waiting list. 28,000 is more than many Premier League clubs' actual season ticket list. We have great partners in Red Bull, and now obviously our front of shirt goes up significantly. And so there's an opportunity for us to take all of that extra revenue and literally all of that extra revenue and pour it right back onto the pitch. Is it going to be easy? Of course not. But are we going to be, do I feel that we're going to be better equipped than the previous clubs? I do. And I think that we have a really great team working together to go and attack the transfer market.
Now, he should feel like that. Like the 3 teams that went down, we talked a little bit about this on my podcast with Michael Maynard and Locky, Ben Locky. The 6 teams that have gone down are not Leeds United. I mean, we are, of course, going to spend maybe similarly, but Ipswich, when you look at Ipswich, who gave it the best kind of go, they went from League One. A lot of that bulk of that club was built from League One and then went up to the Premier League. Also, I think what's happening in the Prem, and maybe Daniel Farke's system is better than this, but the whole idea of possession-based football has been turned on its head. And the top 6 English sides have been in trouble. And and that whole narrative is changing. So I think he does have the right to feel like, hey, I understand that it's been 3 up and 3 back down the past 2 seasons, but we're different.
And it's not something I'm not ready to talk about it, but that doesn't mean the work hasn't been done. Maybe we got ahead of ourselves, but we've been working on market plans for the last 6 months, Premier League market plans for the last 6 months. And so, it's just something that I'm really excited about. And so I'll pause there and jump off my soapbox, and hopefully you guys don't have too many questions, but I know you have some.
Paraag, have you just ended the speculation about Daniel Farke then with what you just said? He's your man for next season.
I have ended the speculation. That is correct. He is my man.
Because 2 years ago, you said you were going to give him the deck of cards that he didn't have in Norwich. Is that exactly the same situation now, 2 years on? I know things can change.
Yeah.
But what does that deck of cards look like then now if he's your man?
Well, like I said, we're going to spend every penny that we can, that we're allowed to spend, and reinvest everything back into the club. So whatever that PSR limit tells us we can go to, we're going to go to.
Have you got a figure in mind because of what that might take to be, not just to stay in the league, but to be, I'm not even saying competitive at the beginning, but to make sure that you don't come down within 1 or 2 years? Is there a figure in mind that might take?
I don't have that right now, Adam. That's something that I'll get around to with Robbie and with Adam and with Daniel over the next several days. But
all right, I'll address Mr. B here. They don't just float ideas out to the public. That's not how they roll. They don't roll like that. They don't care what you think. They just want to win. I mean, it's a nice and lovely idea to think that the 49ers want to survey the entire fans and get some sort of, it's not run by, a survey. It's run by winning. That's all that the shirt sales, the new expansion of the club, everything is done by winning. If they win, I mean, ask Forest fans, like, do they want to play some expansive football? Yeah, maybe, but they're winning with Nuno. They don't care. The ragtag, not ragtag, but they spent $200 million of a bunch of hodgepodge players throwing a bunch of crap at the wall to see what's worked. They should have quite honestly been relegated. They weren't, and now they're having success because they have stability. But again, billionaires don't just kind of go with the flow. They don't think about it's kind of what makes them great, like remarkable in a way. They're egotistical in a I guess way that's advantageous to them. But the whole idea that they floated it out there and they wanted to hear what the public had to say. They don't care what the public thinks. They just want to win. That's all they want to do. If they win, everybody will be happy. That's it. It's not hard.
Right now, I'm not ready to say what that number is, only because I don't know.
Robbie Evans obviously has a new role at the club. It's not like he's been there 5 minutes. Paraag and Adam Underwood and Alex Davis have also been there a little while. How is that dynamic going to be best suited going forward with Daniel for the Premier League? Because we've seen success with Nick Hammond, who's no longer with the club, of course. Why is this going to work, and how is it going to work?
Yeah, let me clarify one thing. Nick was great, and as is Angus, who I'm sad to see leave, and now he crosses enemy lines. Hopefully, we shut off his card key access now. But I
think it's interesting that he said that he crosses enemy lines. That's how Paraag views it, and he jokingly shuts off his card access. I have no love lost to Angus. I wanted him gone when the Gaviscon badge came out, and he tried to say that was some sort of Leeds United. A bunch of fans' opinions were surveyed in that. Angus is, I think, a company man, which is, I guess, good to have sometimes. But I'm glad to see the back of Angus. Yeah,
the guy, but. Nick wasn't doing everything in a vacuum last season. So that's a little bit of a misnomer to characterize it that way. I know you didn't mean to, but it was a team effort. And it's going to continue to be a team effort, and probably even more so this season because, we are going to go from being the big fish in a little pond to a little fish in a big pond. And so we need to fight together and work together. And so all of us, those you mentioned, together with Daniel and myself, we're going to work together to make the best decisions for the club that we can.
And obviously, alongside this, you've talked about the state. Well, not just talked about it. There's big moves now for the stadium too. That's a lot of capital that needs to be put forward. In terms of the stadium, are we going to see a change within 12 months, within 24 months? Is there any sort of timescale now on that?
I think we're going to make some announcements coming over time that you'll see. It's going to take a little bit of time because we're trying to do it without compromising seats for matches. So we are going to be focused on summers and international breaks and things like that. There'll be some minimal disruption in different places and lounges and things like that where we have to put in structural pillars. But for the most part, it'll be with minimal seat reduction or anything during matches.
Clearly, you're going to have to, speak to investors, Paraag, going forward here, and Red Bull are one of those. What is their situation now that Premier League status has been achieved? Are they going to be a bigger presence now?
No, they're going to be the same great presence that they have been. It's the partnership is unchanged, other than the fact that it's a different kind of deal now that we're in the Prem. But other than that, they're going to continue to be great partners in the same way that they have been.
And just finally, congratulations. It must have been a great moment taking that trophy out there in front of those fans yesterday. What did that represent to you?
Yeah, I thank you. I didn't know how I would feel. I didn't know what the moment would bring. And it brought tears, and so it was just raw emotion. It was a special
tears, raw emotion. That's who he is. Mr. B saying that they were entertaining it. I agree. They were entertaining it. They're entertaining other managers. Right now, they're going, you know what? If Farke doesn't make it through 5 games and we have X amount of, they're already doing the analysis. Are they going to come out and say that publicly? I just don't understand what's gained from it. So the Daily Mail article to me was it just didn't say anything. They're evaluating their manager and they could change him. Of course, they could. If they got second, I think they probably would have re-examined him. But he got the trophy. He's gotten the most points out of 2 years. They're celebrating. They're going, you know what? We're going to give it to him. We're going to give it to him in the summer. And we're going to give him, 5 to 10 games, whatever it is, whatever number they have in their head.
It was special for me.
Hi, Paraag. Thanks for the clarity on Daniel. Are you able to take us into your relationship with him and what the last couple of days have been like for the pair of you as a duo working together?
Yeah, it's been great. He is such a calming force. Presence would be a understatement if I said calming presence. He's just a calming force for supporters, for players, for the club. He really has a superpower that way, where he just, he told you all he was 100% confident that we're going to the Prem, I think, after the draw at Swansea, or against Swansea, right? And he believed it. And, I love him for it. He has that conviction and belief. And yeah, I think we continue to stay in touch all the time. I did tell him privately that I'm looking forward to moving forward together. But it just wasn't. I just didn't feel like it was my time to speak, just because someone wanted to put out something that put out a rumor or whatever. It wasn't my place and time to speak at that point. So, but I did.
As an adult, like, how can you make a decision when you don't necessarily have all the facts? And I think, you had to have all games completed to really do an evaluation. He probably did one very quickly. And the stuff that he cited 2 summers ago, I think, was important. The stuff about, all the transfer windows. The 49ers takeover took forever for the EFL to approve. It was dragging and really affecting the window. So I think that's it all has to be taken into account. And then the fact that Daniel Farke, he went up. Went up. Yeah, you could take it all with a grain of salt, right? He got the quote unquote 90-point trophy. The first month of that season, what was the game against the Midland squad? I'm forgetting it right now, but we basically started Jaffe, James, Shackleton as one of the wingers. I mean, he had nobody to work with. Nanta was sitting out. Who else was sitting out? Sinistera was sitting out. Georgie was, I think, injured. Somerville was injured. So he take it all in the 1,000-foot view or whatever. Detach yourself from the moment, and really do give Daniel Farke his flowers.
Talk to him privately.
And the last 2 summers have been fairly dramatic in Leeds United style, and the club didn't have...
Dramatic or traumatic?
Well, both, you could probably say.
Okay.
The club didn't have all the control that it would have wanted over player movement. This summer, are you fully in control, and will you need player sales of players who represent profit to give you the headroom you need?
Yeah, again, I'm not really ready to go into that. But yes, your speculation is probably right. It's going to be a mix of seeing if there are inbounds along with outbounds. And that's probably accurate, but really not ready to go into more detail than that. But we are looking at maximizing what we can do, and so that involves the whole bag, ins and outs.
Hi, Paraag. Congratulations on yesterday. Hope you enjoyed yourself.
Thank you, Baron.
How do you feel about the level of control that Daniel has over transfers and him having the final say on things? Doesn't there need to be any compromise on how much control and how much say he has on these deals in terms of the influence the rest of you might have on the deals that get done?
I honestly think that's a little bit of a mischaracterization of the past as well. So it's not like there's something written in that way. We've always worked together, and we've always worked where we all need to feel good about an inbound player. Unfortunately, we didn't have any decisions to make on outbound players because of those damn release clauses. But we always work together on the inbounds, and we're going to continue to do that. If there was a player that Daniel didn't want, we didn't bring him in. If there's a player that didn't fit us for other reasons, we didn't bring him in. And so we're going to work in the same way. We're going to work very collaboratively, probably a little bit more focus on making sure we're making the right group decisions, because let's be honest, there's more at stake now, more money, more jeopardy. I don't want to, this is the first time in 35 years that with fans there that we got to celebrate a promotion. I don't want to deal with a relegation.
The other thing this tells me is that, much like Paraag to Daniel Farke a little bit, but even less so, but the 49ers enterprises very much trust Paraag Marathe. They trust him completely to run this club as the chairman and make the decisions in the boardroom. The Yorks are relatively, I think, backseat investors, which I think is what you want. You don't want ownership that's really meddling in some of the day-to-day decisions, So this is good.
You said you've done 6 months of research then, what it might take to stay in the league next year.
At least.
Sorry, yeah, at least, if not more, of course. Yeah. What lessons have you taken from the failures at Leicester, Ipswich and Southampton this year? But maybe even more importantly, what about from the success of Forest, Bournemouth, Fulham? There's some teams that in the not so recent past that have established themselves and are now very competitive. So what lessons can you take from what they did to really keep Leeds in the Prem next year?
I mean, you've got to nail your transfers. You've got to nail the players that come in that really fit the style of play that you want to have, that fit the club and play together cohesively. I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Also some lessons learned from the 3 years when I was sitting as a vice chairman watching us do what we did those 3 years. And yes, no doubt we had tremendous success our first season in the Prem. But we weren't really thinking about, building a plan for multiple years. We were just sort of, pay as you go, fly by the seat of our pants. And I think that's probably something that those clubs that you mentioned, whether it be Bournemouth or Forest or Villa, they're building a multi-year plan. And yes, of course, it doesn't take away from anything on focusing on that one season, but it's a multi-year plan, building out a foundation. And the first year is survival, not compete. It's survival. I get that. And anything more than that would be gravy. But it's built.
I think he's humble to say that. It is right. The goal is 17th. Hot, I think if you aim for 17th, you'll be relegated. I think you really have to aim for top half of the table and then hit 15th, if we're lucky. But it's going to be the squad doesn't need surgery. I wouldn't go that far. And I talked a little bit about infrastructure, how we're so much more better prepared than we were in 2020, just in terms of, I think, the ability to squad depth, investment in the squad. I mean, if you player for player against the 2021 squad or even the 21-22 squad outside of Rafinha, I mean, you probably feel like there's and maybe prime Calvin Phillips, but Calvin Phillips was injured after the Euros. He wasn't really the same. I mean, he was okay. There was a game in which he man-marked Harry Kane. I think Spurs wound up winning it, but he man-marked Harry Kane. And he did. Once Bielsa put him on Harry Kane, it was amazing. So anyways, but outside of those two, you probably take most of the players in this squad. And we're promoted. But with that being said, all 17 have strengthened. And Moneyball is much more prevalent. This Moneyball of Brighton and Bournemouth and Brentford, the killer bees, as I'm B to the 3, as I'm referring to them as, and then throw Forest in there. It's going to be difficult to navigate, but let's finish this up and then I'm going to dig a little bit more into Paraag.
Building a plan, and that's something that we're focused on.
I just wanted to ask in terms of the, I know you can't go into the numbers about transfer spending, but just in terms of the sort of mechanics of PSR, do you know at the moment what your PSR budget will be? And is there a point where you get clarity on that if you're not there yet?
Stuart, I have not learned it from 16 minutes ago when Adam asked me the question. I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact number.
No, I'm not asking for a number. I'm just saying, is there a point in time where you will know?
Oh, yeah. Certainly. And that's something is probably going to be better equipped for Adam and Robbie to answer, just because they are our spokespeople for what we're doing in football, along with Daniel. And there'll be a time and place for that, and it's coming soon. And also, I will tell you, I'm not sure that I want us to share it, because then if you think about it, another club out there, when we're going out to somebody, they'll think that we're maxed out and we can't go past X. Therefore, another club can swoop in. So actually, we'll know it, but I'm not sure I want to tell you guys.
No, I was more interested in when you would know it.
Yeah.
We would.
I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah, don't give them that number, please. Don't release that to the public.
Adam and Robbie already know it. I'm just focused on the moment.
And how difficult is that balance you've just mentioned to Baron because obviously you talk about building for the long term and that is clearly important, but as you've also said, everything is on survival this year. So how difficult a balance is that going to be to strike, do you think?
Yeah, it's going to be very important. It's going to be a challenge we are entirely focused on this upcoming season and particularly this upcoming window, which is the most important window in decades probably for us. But we also are trying to build it for the long term, build this to last, build this to be sustainably competitive.
Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate the time, guys. I do want to say I feel bad that the last couple of weeks of all that speculation. It's just I felt like I felt bad that that Daniel and the coaches probably felt they were twisting in the wind a little bit. It just I tried to do what I could privately. It just felt like to me. I'm gonna speak when I have something to say and when the time is right. And so, it's unfortunate that somebody else tried to speculate something a week or two ago, because today was always the moment I was going to speak with you all.
Yeah, I think what happened was he had to let the season finish. He's like, we'll back you. We were backing you. We'll talk about next year. And Paraag Marathe and the coaching staff were like, I guess we better win that trophy. You saw Daniel Farke very animated against Portsmouth. Like, he talked about how the halftime talk was, it was big. They wanted to win that trophy. You saw him after the final whistle blew and we won in the 91st minute. He just took a seat and was like, it's intense. His job, I mean, people won't say it. I'm not on ITK. I think his job was a little bit on the line. I really think he had to win the title. That's important for the 49ers to win that. And I don't think he would have been sacked, but I certainly think that they were evaluating. But that, again, when I say that, every manager is evaluated. I mean, every job. I mean, I don't know, if you're in business and capitalism and the stuff that we deal with in this life, we're evaluated. We go through performance evaluations, blah, blah, blah. But is it breaking news to put that in the Daily Mail that they're evaluating the manager and they have a short list of course. Again, this is how it works. This is how it's operating. So anyways, he is a good bloke. Smash the like if you could. It means a ton to me. Small channel, pub channel, if you will. Lee says, you say that, Alex. I didn't know many Americans, but he seems like a sound bloke. Jesse did a lot of damage. It was for BS. He was a salesman. But that's like that in all countries. I mean, you can find some salesmen, I'm sure, in Britain and the UK, and you can find some, I don't know, well-educated person that went to University of Leeds or wherever, or, that's smart. And Paraag went to Stanford. He's no, no mug, as you would say. This is Paraag Marathe's bio, because we had some questions, people talking about who is he? I didn't know he was American. But this is his bio on the 49ers website. I tried to find his Wikipedia page, but I don't think he has one. So this is the best bio that you can really have. So he's in his 24th year with the 49ers. So that means he's, I don't know when the 49ers Enterprises was established, but with the football club, American Football Club in California, 24 years. Currently serves as both president and executive vice president of football operations. So he oversees that team. Again, I don't think he makes huge everyday decisions, but what's his expertise? He's long respected roles as the chief contract negotiator and salary cap architect. In the States, you have a hard cap. Well, I think it's actually more fungible than it used to be. But in this league, you have a hard cap. That means all teams, doesn't matter if you're, I don't know, what's a small town? I could say a small market team like Indiana Colts, they're mid-market maybe, Indiana Colts, or the New York Giants, or the San Francisco 49ers. Everybody operates around the same budget. No team that allows the Dallas Cowboys to not just buy trophies. There's a hard cap, creating balance. At least that's the idea. I don't want to go too far into the weeds of NFL. But he oversees the football team's analytics department, okay, among other football duties. So he likes stats. He's responsible for 49ers compliance with the NFL's collective bargaining agreement. This guy is a legal and numbers nerd, okay? He likes this stuff. That's how you win. He's not going to be evaluating players and he's not going to say, well, like if you asked Paraag Marathe 5 years ago, who's going to be a better winger, Largi Ramazani or, Rafinha? He's not that guy. He's a stats guy. He's a numbers guy, and he's a contract negotiation guy. He likes that stuff. He, along with general manager John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, again, these three people have been in place for about 10 years. Okay. The Yorks are loyal. Everybody's making money. That's what they like to see. They want to see trophies as well. Marathe is also co-chairs of the NFL's future committee. I think that's kind of just a committee, right? Kind of something to put on your resume. Integral role in building the 49ers current roster, or you would say squad. So what can I tell you about the 49ers? The 49ers are they've kind of zigged where the league has zagged. They have traditionally, I think they're under a rebuild right now, but they have built a club that has a lot of athletic talent, typically. He oversaw the development of Levi Stadium, an unparalleled fan experience venue. Do you think he's excited and he's rubbing his hands at the prospect of rebuilding or adding on to Ellen Road? You're darn right he is. Okay. This is a guy that is aggressive. He wants to win. He wants it to go, as this one board member I used to work with at an organization. He says, I want everything up and to the right. Right? When you look at that classic graph chart, I want you to tell me everything's up and to the right. I don't want to hear any bad news. Don't give me bad news. Let me know it's up to the right. And that's what he builds. That's what he gets to his team. And if you perform under a guy like this, you will get promoted. You will get opportunities. What else here? Well, I don't want to read all this. We'll just skim some of this. In 2024, it talks a little bit about Leeds. After 5 years of minority owners of 49ers Enterprises became the sole owner of storied English football club. Leeds United, Marathe at the helm as chairman, currently competing in the English Championship. We'll have to update that. Leeds are going up. Unites are going up. Let you know we're going up. Okay. In June 24, Marathe and his team announced landmark front of shirt partnership investment deal with Red Bull, a first of its kind English football in either category, energy drink and company, a global sports giant. In 2024, Marathe announced a landmark partnership with Red Bull, bringing new commercial revenues as well as additional capital investment. Marathe joined the board of the NFL UK Foundation. Catalyst of cricket growth. Yeah, I read this. He's kind of like nerding out on cricket too. I mean, this guy, he doesn't have any free time. There's no such thing. He gets business done on airplanes. Like, this guy is, he himself is a multi-millionaire. I imagine when it's all said and done, after working for the Yorks, he might be a billionaire himself. He's a native of Saratoga, California, passion for the 49ers at a very young age. Long sports fan. There's a big article when he first took over. He goes, I ate the sports page for breakfast. I mean, he's kind of one of these guys that loves sports, loves competition, but didn't probably have athletic ability, much like many of us watching right now. Anyways, Marathe's Bay Area roots run deep, which is also the San Francisco area. He went to Haas School of Business at California, Berkeley. Okay, that tells me it's a California school. So that tells me he was smart, but his parents probably didn't have a lot of money. I hate to be like that. That's a great school. I probably couldn't get into it, but he's a working class kind of guy. Okay, he didn't go, his undergraduate school was not private. He went to a public good school, and then he went and got his MBA from Stanford School of Business, which is where a ton of startups and all the stuff out in Silicon Valley, a lot of people have come out of. Marathe and his wife, Jennifer, have 2 daughters, and they live in Los Altos, California, which is a highly coveted area of the Bay Area. But look, that's Paraag. That's our chairman. That's what he said. What do I think of Daniel Farke? Hey, I think any manager change would be risky. I'm going to be rooting for him. He is on a short leash, and I just think it's a beast up there. I think we need, you're going to see keep, sell, bench videos or keep, sell, loan videos of all different content creators. And I could go through probably the starting lineup and give you my thoughts right now. Basically when I've scouted the Prim, what's happening, we need serious investment on the back line. That's what's going to be needed. And that's no slight on Joe Rodon, Ethan Ampadu, Pascal Struck, Bogle, or Firpo. But it's these guys are lethal, man. I mean, I just watched some of the highlights. Bournemouth take down Arsenal at Arsenal. Do you think they're going to be afraid of coming into Ellen Road? Bournemouth's not going to be afraid of coming into newly promoted Ellen Road. They're going to be like, we just took points off Arsenal. We went into London last year. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a dogfight the following season. But let's enjoy it. Parade tomorrow. Soak it in. This club, I think we need to take in with a little bit of like perspective too from the previous club that got promoted. And, Daniel Farke got a championship. And, if he takes Leeds to 9th or 10th, will we be talking to him about him in high regards as Bielsa? Maybe. I don't know. I can't say that. Bielsa was a special man, and he did it with a much less talented squad and a less talented paid squad. He didn't need any additional investment. So, look, soak it in. We're going up. We won the title, and we'll have probably until Wednesday until we'll start getting rumors and tweets and Fabrizio Romano alerts of who we're looking at. So up the Whites, that's my time. I think the club is in good hands. I back the manager for now. And we move. Thanks everybody. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you soon.